Welcome to a brand new series of the Smart Talk, where we talk about real struggles, real stories, and entrepreneurs that came up from the ground up. Before we get started today, I want to give a huge shout out to our two main sponsors. We got Hookah Kings, the top-rated hookah lounge in New Mexico, where they pride themselves on great customer service and a great hookah experience, and Merino Media, where they quality content that matters for your business and image. I'm Shadi.
And I'm Evis, and today we have a special guest here, my boy Leon, aka Leon Looks.
How's it going, everybody?
Yes, sir. Great to have you here.
Being here, man. Appreciate the offer. You know, I gotta come help support my boys.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
That's how it goes.
Absolutely. So, Leon, I've worked at a couple of events with you and everything, but we dabbled a little bit. How did you get started with Leon Looks, and where did the inspiration come from? What were you doing before, and what happened to get you to this point?
Leon Looks has started since I was a kid. I've always been a huge collector. I collected a lot of sports, 90s, hip hop. I was into a lot of like West Coast 90s hip hop. So I have a lot of like original promo posters and just really cool toys, magazines that I still have to this day.
Yeah.
Still collect that stuff. So I wanted to have a business that kind of captured my vibe of a collector, to see things that you don't ever see when you go to most, vintage stores or things like that.
Right.
So I just wanted to create a vibe to kind of capture that. And also, I've always been a big fan of vintage clothing. I've always collected jerseys, jackets, shirts. So, I wanted to provide that, and also a feel for like my own designs. I wanted to show people what was important to me, what I loved, having Rick James, Mary Jane,
Yeah, that's one of his
classic,
designs
man.
too. Yeah.
It's a tight shirt, man.
It's cool to see the people that, vibe with it and support us. And, I couldn't be anywhere without my father. My father helps me run my business.
Right.
Yeah,
and huge support. It's always cool having pops there. I know a lot of people have met my dad, and,
Shout out your father, man. He's a great man.
Appreciate that. Yeah. So he helps out a lot. But we look to, vibe with the people that love vintage, love that era of, the nostalgia, so we just want to reach people,
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. You have a very impressive brand. Like, what were you doing in your early 20s? And I know you're in your late 30s now, like as far as like building yourself up as your character, career-wise, that kind of led up to the stepping stone of you building Leon Looks.
So before I, started Leon Looks, I was actually a men's college basketball referee.
Oh, shit.
And I traveled the country. I refereed in 6 conferences. I loved it, talking about sports. I always played sports. So like growing up, my father was a referee, and he got me started. He said, you should try this. It's a good way to make some extra cash. And I literally fell in love with it. I just wanted to become the best I could be. I started off doing elementary, middle school, high school, made my way to men's college, and I only refereed 2 years of high school basketball before I reached men's college, which is
That's quick.
unheard of
Yeah,
from this area.
Yeah, it is crazy.
Yeah.
So being from New Mexico, we're always kind of behind the curve, So I felt the disrespect in the basketball world, like, oh, this guy's from New Mexico, he doesn't know what real ball is. He can't referee.
Yeah, it's I've played basketball like my entire life here in the United States, and the Mexico refs have bad refs.
Yeah.
They have very bad
Exactly.
refs. So, I mean, what was the biggest stage that you refereed in? Like, what games or that you remember?
Honestly, I've got to referee some really cool things. One thing that I'm super proud of is I got accepted into the NBA training program. So
Wow.
it's very elite. There's only 60 NBA referees in the world. So to be accepted into that program was incredible. I was the only one from New Mexico ever accepted.
Wow.
So that was something. I got to referee actual NBA players, go to New York. I got an actual NBA check for refereing, which is cool.
That
That's
is
crazy.
cool.
So, I was heavy into that, and, I was very passionate about it, and some things in life, COVID made me change my whole direction. I have a daughter, and just being on the road that much, man, you're never home. You're not able to be around your family, and that's difficult, man. And I wanted to have a relationship with her and wanted to see her through her important years of life. So, that with some other things made me change careers, and I'm so grateful too, because I get to step into a business of things that I love, and get to meet people that love the same things that I do. I've met some very cool people along the way, my homies, so it's very cool to share the entrepreneurship of others, along the way as well.
Yeah.
Not along the freedom it gave you.
Yeah.
'Cause, I mean, reffing, I couldn't imagine what your schedule was like, but
Yeah.
it sounds very taxing.
Yeah, it's not too fun to spend Valentine's Day in South Dakota,
Yeah.
-8 degrees.
Yeah,
but
definitely.
I was out there, and it wasn't always glamorous. I had to
Yeah.
go to little schools, Oklahoma, Texas. It's not a journey that is easy, but I was grateful for the places I got to see and be able to put New Mexico on the map a little bit for refereeing. And,
Mhm.
so that was cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's pretty cool.
That's cool, man. I would have definitely framed that NBA check in my room.
I do have it, bro. I do have it still. I
actually
don't
have
have
it
a frame, but I have it, bro.
It said the National Basketball
I
Association.
saw my
and everything.
jersey too. My jersey they gave me and everything too.
Oh
so.
man, that is crazy. That is crazy.
That's cool. That's cool, man. Yeah, it's because I'm a business owner myself, so it's like it's very impressive whenever you go from one career to another career and you excel in both. Your brand Leon Looks. It's very like when you open up a business, right? You gotta really look at supply and demand, right? The apparel industry and the clothing industry, it's a very saturated market. Like, what did you do to separate yourself from the competitors?
So at Leon Looks, I wanted to offer a variety. I do design graphic shirts and sell custom shirts, but I also have records. I also have vintage clothing. I also have comics, sports cards, vintage posters, magazines. I have some stuff that you have never seen. I have a Michael Jordan Japanese magazine sealed 1996. I have an original 95 above the rim Tupac movie basketball hoop, toy basketball hoop. I have things like that not a lot of people have seen before. So it kind of separates Leon Looks from other vintage dealers and, just businesses in general.
Mm-hmm. Finding those like vintage collectibles how hard is that? Because you got to be digging to the internet, making calls, I want you to tell people like how really hard it is to find that type of stuff because it's not just out and about,
Yeah, no, I get that, bro. And if I had $1 for every time someone asked me that, I always just say the joy is in the hunt. But
I love it.
It's you got to search, you got to find stuff. I'm always looking at auctions. I'm always I buy from private collectors. I've bought stuff overseas. There's this guy that collects 90s vintage stuff from Germany, and I bought many of my posters, and he's bought stuff for me. So I've developed relationships with people that have some of that stuff as well.
Have you ever? How do you determine something that's good? Like, do you buy in bulk, or do you pick it out by hand and then they send it to you?
Well, I mean, it just depends. I do buy collections, whole collections, but I also do buy single pieces. I mean, I'm still a guy that I love vintage, so I love to go search for things, man. I like to go to vintage stores. I like to go to garage sales, estate sales. That's what kind of got me into it. It's cool finding stuff. I know how it is. But it's also cool to have one place where there's a bunch of cool things that is kind of curated. So that's what we try to offer at Leon Looks, is kind of a curated version of that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. When it comes to building a business, obviously there's always setbacks and those bumps in the road. What did you do? Did you have any doubts that this wasn't gonna work out, or anything you had to do to just keep yourself pushing forward and I gotta make this, I gotta do this?
All the time, man. Running a business, being a small business owner is tough.
Yeah.
There's ups and downs. There's good times. There's bad times. But it's remaining, consistent. True to who you are. I feel like the right people are going to support you. And for me, there's times where you doubt. You're like, dang, what am I doing? People don't like this. Or they're not trying to support or whatever the case may be. But you see the people that do support and do rock with you, and that gives you so much motivation to keep doing what you do. So it's really cool, man, to see the growth. It's hard because I've been there where I started my Instagram, and I remember I couldn't even get 100 followers. I'm like, damn, dude, this shit, it's crazy. Oh, my bad, I don't know if I can.
No, you're okay. You're
good, man.
But it's just, it just takes time.
Yeah.
Good things take time. That's really what it comes down to. And you gotta remain consistent. You gotta do. You just got to be true to yourself and stick with the process.
And how long have you been how long have you had Leon Looks for?
So Leon Looks has probably been about 2 years, a little over 2 years. So, it's cool. Like I said, it's just cool to see the growth and to see, excited for the future and what may come about of that.
Yeah. If someone wanted to, step in your shoes and start their own brand and kind of do what you're doing, what do they have to do to make it successful? Is it like the social media influencers that come to these events? Is it the marketing? Like, what is like the keys of success that you got your brand the way it is if someone wanted to do the same thing you're doing?
I think the most important thing is relationships you build with people. People gotta believe in you, trust in you, to want to buy from you. You're selling a product, and to get people to want to believe in your brand and who you are, it's just being nice, being courteous, treating people fairly. I try to give people good deals because I like people to come back and support. That's the coolest thing, is seeing return customers. So I just feel like building relationships is just one of the most important things. Like you said, I've like social media influencers, I've been very fortunate to be connected with people that have genuinely wanted to support my business and help out. And it's cool to see them become friends. And it's awesome to be able to grow that circle of people that want to support you and help out, that are at high levels or higher levels in whatever their lane is. So I think that's really cool. And I think, I definitely want to be someone that helps support the community. And that's why we put on our own events at Leon Looks. We want to put on good events for the community. I want all my vendors to come out. I want them to sell and do well, and, people to come out and just have a good overall event in the community, which, Albuquerque could use,
Right. And since you mentioned put on your events, you have the Leon Looks Fest, of course. What was the inspiration behind that, where you wanted to throw your own event? Because when I met you, it was at the Art Walk. And I was a customer, then we became friends, and you know how that relationship went. So what inspired you to start Leon Looks Fest?
I've always been a big concert person. I've always loved comedy shows. I've always loved going to events, and I've appreciated going to events that had uniqueness. Festivals that had different types of genres or comedy and music. So like I was like, why don't we just start our own? We've built connections locally with some people that are in the comedy world or in the music world or in the influencer lane that can come together and make really unique events that are different. And that's my whole thing, is I want to provide something that's unique that you can't get at any other event. You can't get Zach Abeda coming on stage. You can't get Hondro live. You can't get tattoos. You couldn't get the Hookah Kings. So, you know what I mean? It's just providing that.
Yeah. Definitely when it comes to picking a business, like, you gotta really enjoy it. You gotta love it. Because that's how you're gonna thrive.
Yeah.
It's you gotta really enjoy what you like doing, because there's people that have careers or have jobs or have business where they don't like it, but they just do it for the money. But at the end of the day, you're gonna suffer on the money aspect because you won't take pride in it. Like, whatever you gotta do, you gotta take pride in it. I can definitely tell you love your clothing brand, you love what you do, and it's very inspiring, because I'm a business owner as well. So like, I'm inspired just sitting next to you, and like, I want to see your company flourish and thrive, and I expect big things from you.
I appreciate that, man.
Yeah,
Thank you so much. It's really cool to sit with other entrepreneurs, and like, I admire what you guys do. My man Evis does everything, and like,
a man of all skills.
And you starting at such a young age, bro, that's awesome.
Yeah, man.
Very, very cool.
I appreciate it. What are your future goals and plans for Leon Looks? Like, do you have anything in the works that that can really take you to the next step to get more people in whenever you're hosting an event, maybe different merch? Like, do you have anything in the works as far as like making your business bigger and better?
Definitely, bro. We're looking to expand to we have monthly events with different breweries like Boxing Bear, La Cumbre, Tin Can Alley. We're looking to just expand to step into new places, to meet new customers, put ourselves in different, demographics. We're also looking to plan bigger Leon Looks events. I can't say where, but it's going to be big. We have a really big event in the works, so excited about that. And we'll also be doing other Leon Looks events throughout the year. So excited about that as well.
That's cool. So I know you go to like different venues, different places. I know you do some breweries. You plan on ever having like a brick and mortar business? You know, have a physical location where people could just walk in at any time and grab any of your apparel, or?
I will say that's probably the second most question I get asked is, when am I going to get a spot? But you know, it's I maybe sometime in the future. It's just finding the right place, finding somewhere you're comfortable with. You know, I just haven't found something yet, and not saying that it won't happen, but as of now, it's not something that I see immediately happening. But I'm also not really a 9-to-5 type of guy. But
Right.
it's kind of nice to make your own hours. And
I'll work for you, bro. Don't worry. I'll
You know,
cover for you.
I love all my people at the breweries, and you know, shout out Boxing Bears. You know, shout out La Cumbre. You know, they always take care of us, and we love being there. And we've met some really great people there, and have built some really cool clientele. And you know, we're always looking to expand. So that's probably the next step.
It's cool, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's cool. What do you do with your inventory? Because I know you have like inventory that you don't sell or just laying around, or you know, you gotta move some product that you know you bought too much that you thought you were gonna sell more of. Like, what do you do with that? Like, how do you keep product moving and not have stuff just sitting on the shelf?
I think providing sales for people, you know, especially I feel like sales provide you access to different demographics. You know, for instance, sometimes younger kids don't have a lot of money, but they can buy a couple of sales shirts, or so it's just being able to provide products for all different demographics of people. So we always provide sale shirts, sale vinyls, and really good stuff. You know, I try to also have some good stuff in there. And like you said, it also helps kind of move product as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's cool, man. That's cool. I really glad you putting everyone on game. You know, it's exciting to see a local influencer, you know, build such a great brand from literally the ground up. You know, did you build a team to help you with Leon Looks, or was this like solo dolo?
It was my idea, and my pops wanted to help out. Like, shout out Pops for helping out. You know, he doesn't ask for a lot. He just helps out, which I appreciate, you know, and I've been running it by myself, but I also have, you know, homies that help out, and they come, but I don't really have a team. It's really just me. So, you know, that's something that we're looking to expand as well. And, you know, just trying to figure out ways to make things more efficient.
Yeah. And I wanted to ask you, actually, so Leon Looks, your name is Leon. Is it an extension of yourself, or is it a brand separate from you? What would you consider Leon Looks?
That's a great question.
So Leon Looks, I feel like it's a very multifaceted word, meaning like it means so many different things. Like, Leon looks for things, and I find really cool things. Leon's look, like, you know what I mean? Also, like, the design of the graphic shirts and the vintage clothing. So, like, I feel like it has kind of a different meanings that, you know, also just kind of make up what I do.
Yeah.
And it fits. My last name starts with an L, so like it kind of worked out.
Yeah,
So,
that is true.
Yeah.
That is true.
Yeah, when you're making a business, the name is vital. You know, you got to make it look like nice but catchy.
Something that's short and catchy.
Yeah, for sure. You know.
Yeah, for sure.
I like your little sunglasses logo.
Oh, appreciate it.
Because it has the looks, you know.
That's why you got the sunglasses today. But yeah, anytime I mention like my friends, whenever I wear some of your merch, they're like, "Where'd you get it from?" Like, my boy Leon. They're like, "Oh, Leon Looks." Like, a lot of the times they have seen it somewhere, either on social media or maybe they're at the walk, you know. And it's like it's pretty cool just to see that word of mouth spread throughout the city.
That is cool, man. That is something that is very cool to see.
Yeah.
See someone wearing your shirt out, you're like, whoa, it makes it rewarding, you know, going through the struggle and the things that you have to, because, you know, those little wins where people support you means everything. Because there's times that, you know, business is slow, or, you know, it's, you know, times a year, there's, you know, it's very seasonal with when people are buying stuff sometimes. So the support is definitely awesome. You know, it's much needed, and, you know, we love those people more than they can ever know, you know.
How does the coordination work with other businesses and venues? Like, how do you coordinate an event? Like, you know, do you just walk in there and be like, hey, I want to throw an event here? Or
it's another thing that you build relationships. I did my first event with OT Circus, which I've set up at the Art Walk with them since when I started. And I've built a reputation over there as just being someone that kind of brings a little bit of a different spark to the Art Walk, because it's mostly art vendors. So I bring some music and some other things, and it has kind of made our presence grow over there. And they gave us the opportunities to put on our own events, and we did a couple. We had some bad weather the first couple of times, but we finally made it work. I would say the biggest one was for my birthday, for the Art Walk in September. Yeah, which was incredible. We finally got some good weather, and it was a really cool event. We sold out the Art Walk. We sold over 45 vendor spots, both sides of the street, which is crazy. It hasn't happened. Yeah, that's crazy. So it was cool.
Yeah, I remember walking into it, and I usually know the OT Circus side right there, the alleyway right there. And then I saw people on the other side in the parking spot, and I'm like, "Is that yours too?" He's like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "Damn, this is big. Like, this is packed." Nah, I didn't expect it to be like that when you told me about it. I didn't know it was gonna be a sold out event like that. Yeah, and it was pretty cool to see that there was music on both sides. You had live performances and everything. Like, it's a good atmosphere. Every event that I've gone to is like a good atmosphere. You can tell like you really love it. It's not like you're walking into a soulless vendor and just like nothing is going on, you know?
Appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely. You're putting up for the city, and we really appreciate it.
Thank you, man.
Yeah. Hey, what would you tell your younger 20, like if you gotta go back and you're in your 20s, what would the Leon now tell Leon in the 20s?
Man, me in my 20s. Yeah. Whoa. No, I would say that looking back, you have a lot of time. You have so much time to figure out who you are and what you want to do. I feel like people can rush themselves. I feel like life is all about finding something that you're passionate about and that you love, because, it's too short. It's too short not to. Yeah. And that's always how I've kind of looked at things, and even the jobs I've gone to. Being a referee, who do you know that referees for a career? Not very many people. Yeah. I always wanted to kind of create my own lane. And I feel like just the younger self, I would just say, be patient, find that thing that you love and just run with it. Just put your heart and soul into it, because, the work you put into it is what you get out of it. And that's even what I tell my daughter, and she's run with that. She's doing well. So I'm happy for her. But, that's what I would say. For sure.
Would you have done anything differently?
Where can I start? There might be.
There's a lot of things.
Oh man.
Like something major, maybe something that.
Hey, to be honest, if I had to answer that question for myself, like I wouldn't change a thing. Even though there's some mistakes and trials I went through, like this is how you built yourself. Like, this is how you became who you are today, That's true. Like right. Obviously we have mistakes where it just makes you cringe, like, fuck, like, why did I do that? But at the end of the day, that's who you are, and that's how you became that type of person, So that's awesome. Yeah. So whenever I make a mistake, whenever I have make a mistake or have a problem with anybody, I always sit back and look back and like, what could I have done to do better? Because at the end of the day, it's usually always two sides to it. And it's honestly most of the times a miscommunication problem you have with anybody. Yeah. If you have a conflict with anybody. So it's like, you just always we're grown men. We got to take accountability for our actions and and be responsible for our own selves. So you got to really look back and be like, what can I have done better? Because at the end of the day, as a grown man, you got to be the best version of yourself. And, you got to have people that want to admire you and be like you. Be around you, you know what I'm saying?
That's very true.
Yeah, that is true. That is true.
Definitely.
So, what was your biggest inspiration in the '90s? You're talking about music and everything like that. Who would you say your favorite artist was?
Music, hands down, Tupac.
Tupac.
I just feel like there was never an artist like Tupac. It just he just had this energy about him. He was just one of those people that you were drawn to no matter what he did, because he was so talented. He was not only a tremendous music artist, but he was an actor, he was a poet, he was, just so many things wrapped into one. And I feel like Tupac just always spoke to me. Maybe I didn't, necessarily live the life he lived, but just his realness and how authentic he sounded. I still to this day don't think there's anyone that sounds as authentic as Tupac. And So music. So I was really big 90s,
Yeah.
West Coast hip hop fan. Sports was always big. So huge Jordan fan, of course, but
Yeah.
Reggie Miller was my guy. I was 31 in high school for Reggie.
Nice, nice.
Yeah, I was a 3-point shooter, man. So
I definitely see the shot, man. So,
yeah.
I'm sorry. Any of like, let's say those inspirations you had back then in the 90s when it comes to designing your shirts or just running your business in general, how do you implement them into your business?
So I want to, with the shirt designs, I want to obviously portray things that made me who I am and things that I love, but also uniqueness to it. So I want to provide shirts that you haven't really seen before, you know, like the Willie Beeman, Steamin' Willie Beeman from
Right.
Any Given Sunday. That shirt, I will say, so I've always had people come up to me and say, I've never seen a Willie Beeman shirt. And that's cool.
Yeah.
Because it's uniqueness to it.
Mm-hmm.
Especially like the Rick James shirt, you know, which was our latest release. And we have some plans in the future for some releases. We actually did a collaboration shirt with Boxing Bear this past year, which was awesome.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Tell me, I know you love your business and I know you love your brand that you built, but obviously there's cons to it. You know, there's things that you don't like about it. What are some things you don't like about doing what you do, you know, because it's not 100% you like everything you do, you know?
yeah, that's in anything.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, being your own business owner, you know, you don't have a pension or you don't have a 401, you know, you have to really,
Insurance and all that.
yeah. So you have to, you know, really cover yourself and you have to be smart with your money and IRAs and things like that. You got to make sure and set yourself up for the future. So that's definitely a con as far as just not having that stability, you know, paycheck. I don't know exactly how I'm going to make next week.
Yeah.
It's all about how much I can sell, you know, when it boils down to it. So, you know, that is probably one of the biggest cons, not having the stability.
Yeah, and what a lot of people don't understand is that being a small business owner, like that money you take, it doesn't go straight into your pocket. Like you got to reinvest that back into your business.
Exactly.
You know, marketing, you know, getting better shit. So that's you got to constantly keep building up your brand and what goals you have in the future and stuff like that. As far as your brand goes, I'm sure that you know when you go to your events, you host at different art walks and different venues. I'm sure there's people that talk shit to you or you know talk shit about your brand. Like what do you say about that to your haters? Like do you just brush it off or you know did you let it get to your head? Because some people can't take hate.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. I mean that's a good question. How do you deal with that adversity?
I mean, at the end of the day, not everybody's gonna like you. That's in anything you do. You know, I think if you just stay true to yourself, you know, the people that don't like you or that have something against you, that's their own problem. You know, for me, I don't have to sell clothes to you. I don't have to sell you a record. You know what I mean? I want to be around the people that support the brand, and I just don't really pay it. And honestly, the hate and the negativity, it gives me fuel to make the business even better. I try to use it as positive, you know,
inspiration.
I've always, even in my past career, I had a lot of haters.
It's hard. Bet.
Yeah, just because, you know, being in that position, you know, people were like, oh, he's not good enough, you know, or whatever. I just use it to be better. And that's what I do for my business as well. I've always been a competitive person. You know, I've been in sports by nature. And it's not competitive, meaning like I want to be better than everyone. It's just competitiveness that I want to be my best version of myself, my business.
At all times, yeah.
Yeah, and like I want to support other people. Like that's why it's cool to see successful entrepreneurs, you know, Hookah Kings, Merino Media. You know, it's cool to see people doing their own thing, you know, trying to be the best in their own lane. And that's cool.
Yeah, but I still think even if you're doing things in your own lane, like you can all come together, like for example, in this setting and support each other. And a lot of the times you don't see that, which is cool here. A lot of the artists and people, they support each other and we're all trying to bring up and obviously make something meaningful out of it, which is really cool. You don't see that often. You don't see that often at all, which is cool to see it here.
You got any events planned for the next week or next month coming up?
Nothing as far as our bigger events set in stone yet, but we're in the works with those. So look out for something in April timeframe. But we're always doing our weekly pop-ups. I'll be at La Cumbre Friday night, Boxing Bear Saturday, and Tramway. So I always do at least 1 or 2 events a week to have people come out and see our new products and see our special deals and things like that.
And we'll tag you on Instagram below on Leon Look, so make sure everyone taps in with you and see what moves you got going on next. I really appreciate you coming on here and telling us your story and how you came up and, starting a great brand. It's very inspirational, and I'm really proud of you. You should be really proud of yourself. I hope your daughter's proud of you. I hope anyone watching this really admires what you've done, because it's hard to come up from the ground up and being as successful as you are. So I really appreciate you coming on here. It's very inspiring.
Charlie, I appreciate that, man. That's means a lot to me, man. It's very cool and humbling to come from such a successful guy like yourself. So I'm so happy to be here. Come support. This podcast is going to be awesome. It's got big things, my guys.
Yeah.
I know they're going to be doing something. So I'll be here in and out. I'll definitely come back, and it was an absolute pleasure.
Thank you.
Bro.
Hey, before we wrap it up, what time are you at those spots at?
La Cumbre, I'll be there Friday at the Gerard, the main tap room, between 4 and 8. And then Saturday, I'll be at Boxing Bear on Tramway at 2 to 6.
And are those usually the regular times that you do every week?
They are posted. They're usually regular,
posted.
but they're posted on my story.
Okay.
Yeah.
So definitely keep a watch on your story, and that's where people will find you.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
What's happening with Leon Lux? Yeah. Before we end today's podcast, I want to give another huge shout out to our two main sponsors, Hookah Kings, the top rated hookah lounge in New Mexico, where they pride themselves on great customer service, and give you a great hookah experience. And Merino Media, well, quality images matters whenever it comes to your image or your business or any media type of content. And I'll see you guys next time on the Smart Talk.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Killed it.